And today I want to discuss with you the 5 things to consider before hiring a freelancer. So let's dive in. All right, guys, the first thing to consider when hiring a freelancer is their niche. Every freelancer has a niche. They might be a program developer, a web designer, they might be a creative doing like logos and branding, but every freelancer generally has a niche. If you're looking for a freelancer and maybe you need that logo designed or a website developed, you need to consider the fact that you need to find a freelancer that matches what project you're going to be needing the work done on. A lot of freelancers, some of them, because they're just trying to make money, they try to broaden their perspective of what projects they'll take on. So they say they're really good at branding and marketing, and they're really good at web development. And so they make it sound like they're great at a lot of things. But in reality, we know in today's society that people are becoming really focused or hyper-focused on one area. So it's really good if you want this project to probably come out to your expectations and have the quality that you're looking for. The first thing you need to do is find somebody that meets their requirement and somebody that has that niche. Don't look at generally the freelancers that are just good at everything, because that generally means they're not good at any specific thing. The second thing I want you guys to consider is their portfolio. So when you hire a freelancer, because they're a freelancer, they probably have work they've done for other people. Now, if you're maybe a startup and you're trying to save money, you might be looking at hiring a freelancer that has really limited experience and their portfolio is like super small. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're hiring a freelancer and you're concerned with the quality of work they produce, look at their portfolio. It will give you a good idea. Now, that seems like a no-brainer. But what I like to do is when I look at a portfolio of a freelancer, I also want to look at their style behind their portfolio. What type of designs or what type of work have they done? Not just the quality of it, but they're going to pull in their own perspective on your project. So if they're a more edgy type of designer and they like a lot of more crisp and clean lines, that's probably how your project's going to end up. Maybe you're looking for more of the rustic-y feel, or maybe on a web design, you're looking for a very simple, clean look, but their type of design is real heavy and has a lot of colors and contrast, and that's not something you want. Just look at their portfolio in the way of, does their type of design or their type of work match what the design and work we want to produce? They might produce great quality, but their perspective on the project could be different than someone else's. So just keep that in mind as you look at their portfolio. So the third thing I want you guys to consider is the turnaround time of the freelancer. So we all have deadlines a lot of times and we're looking to have projects finished. So when you hire a freelancer, make sure they can meet your deadlines. So if it's a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, a year, make sure that you spell out exactly when you need that work to be done and turned in by and finalized, and make sure that they can fit within your time frame. Sometimes the cheaper rate freelancers mean that they have a full-time job and they freelance on the side, and so it's harder for them to meet deadlines. And to maybe meet your tough deadline, they actually reduce the quality because they're just trying to have a quick turnaround. It's really kind of a balancing act. So when you look at the turnaround time, weigh a lot of things into it. It's not just this guy can produce it in 24 hours. That might be great, but a lot of people can do it, but it might not be the quality that you need. Last thing that you guys need to consider when hiring a freelancer are the project files you get at the end of the project. So it doesn't matter if it's a logo or a movie, a web app, depending on the project, there are certain things that you need at the end of the project. They're going to hand over an image, they're going to hand over files, they're going to hand over all the work that they did for you. So you need to evaluate how you are going to get those files and in what format they're going to be in. So if I have a logo created, am I actually going to be getting maybe the Illustrator file or the Adobe file? Or are they just handing me a PNG and a JPEG of my logo? If that's the case, that might not be a right fit for you. You might require to get the Adobe file or the raw files or the source files from your freelancer. So make sure before you hire them, look at the project and see if you need those source files or native files. There's a couple different terms for them. Make sure you get them, because the worst thing that you can have happen is maybe 6 months down the road, you kind of went through maybe a rebranding process or you want to make a few edits, and you can't make those edits. Now you have to go back to the freelancer and say, hey, listen, we changed this color, we want to remove this title, can you edit this out? Or can we add a couple of things to it? And they're gonna say, yeah, I can do it for my normal hourly rate, and it's gonna take another 5 hours to do that. You wanna have those files. The best thing you can have is your business is moving quickly, you need to have the ability to change that material or that project at your disposal. And the only way to do that is to have the native files. So look at your freelancer and ask them before you sign a contract or hire them, at the end of the project, am I getting the Adobe files? Am I getting the raw movie footage? Whatever those files are that you need, make sure you get what you require so you can go back and edit and make changes later. Again, you're paying them for the work, they're producing the work. You don't want to undermine the freelancer by saying, okay, build this out and then we'll make our changes. That's not the goal. I'm not condoning that whatsoever. Pay the freelancer to do the work that you need. But 6 months from down the road, maybe you need to make a color change. It's stupid as a business choice to go back and be like, well, let's hire him for $50 an hour to make a color change. And so you need to be able to quickly and efficiently make those changes on the fly in-house and not have to constantly go back to them. Hey guys, I hope this helps. If you really like the video, I would be appreciative if you could hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and even leave a comment, maybe with some ideas that we didn't cover in this video. There's a lot of things to consider when hiring a freelancer. If you have some helpful tips to share with us, please put them in the comments. And even if you want to see some certain topics that we talk about, comment below and tell us what kind of content we can create that will better help you grow your brand and your business or achieve your goals throughout your career. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.